Okay, hi guys. Good morning. So we are back for this video. So right now we will talk about the scope and delimitation and also the significance of the study. So we will start with scope and delimitation. So this is just a short video, so I hope that you will able to watch and finish the entire video. Okay. So how to write the scope and delimitation? So when we say scope and delimitation, when we say scope is like the coverage of your study. When we say limitation, it's something that we cannot control. But when we say delimitation, it's something that we can control. So therefore, it is the scope or the range of our study. At the same time, the things that we are limiting or that the topic that we are trying to limit in our study. So that's scope and delimitation. So when we say the step one is start with any of these sample phrases that express the scope of the study. So you can actually start by using these phrases. The coverage of this study, the study consists of, the study covers the study is focused on. So those are the phrases that we can use. All you need to do is just use the phrase and then just continue the sentence. So you don't need to bother about the scope and delimitation because this is just a short part of the research. So it doesn't require you to have like a full page for the scope and delimitation. Sometimes it just it just requires a half of the paper for you to have your scope and delimitation. So for this step two, explain what information or subject is being studied or analyzed. Okay, so for the scope and delimitation, you have to discuss what is your study and what are you trying to analyze. Explain the delimitation of the research like the sample size, time frame, geographic area, subjects, objectives, facilities, and the issues to which the research is focused. So as you can see in here, we have the delimitation. So when we say delimitation, like I said, this is something that you are trying to limit in your study. So you have to mention what are the factors that you are trying to delimit in your study. So for a clearer vision of that, we have the step three. Start with any of these phrases that express the delimitation of the study. So if you are trying to delimitate or delimitate something, so you can have the study does not cover the researcher limited this research to, and this study is limited to. So step four, if you're done with choosing what are your delimitations, then we gonna have the step four. Describe the scope of the study. So, what is your coverage all about? Explain why definite aspect of subjects were chosen and why the others were excluded. So, just like what I said, we have the limitation and delimitation. So, when we have the scope and delimitation, we need to make sure or explain the aspects that we chose to include and the aspects that we chose to exclude. Okay, why is there a need for us to exclude? Because we don't need a certain idea in our research. That's why we are excluding it. That's why we are trying to narrow down a topic because the broader the topic is, it will be hard for us to finish it. It will take so much of our time to finish the research. So that's why we are trying to narrow it down. And those ideas that we narrow down are the things that we delimit. Okay? So mention the research method used as well as the certain theories that applied to the idea. Okay, the research method. What are the research methods that we have? So we will go ahead and discuss the research methods at the latter part of our discussion. So number four, explain why you are delimiting the research of the specific geographic location, age, population size, and other similar considerations. So you have to make sure that you mention why are you delimiting a topic. So identify the constraints and weaknesses of your research that are not within the control of the researcher. So what is the example for that? We have this. Scope and delimitation. So the focus of the study is to determine the difference of the role in the school in home of the students in public compared to private schools in Albay. So the phrase that this researcher used was the focus of the study or the focus of this study. And then the researcher continued with the idea, contain his or her topic, and then we are comparing the role performance of private and public high schools in Albay. So they are trying, the aspects look into where the causes of bullying, the roles of parent and guardian or guidance. So they are also trying to see, the aspects of causes of bullying, the roles of parent and guidance in under the public and high school or private schools. So they are trying to compare the role performance at the same time the cases of bullying, the role of the parent and the guidance under the public schools and private schools in Albay. So as you can see in here, there is a one-liner here saying that it delimits the study. So that's the phrase that the researcher used. It delimits the study may not be generalizable to other populations or youth who no longer attend school. So the thing that he delimits here are the students or the population who are no longer attending school. So why this researcher is delimiting the students who are no longer attending school? Of course, because the research is just about comparing public and private school students. So if the student is no longer attending school, then how come we can categorize the student under public or private? So we cannot, of course, because the student is no longer attending school. So we just need those students who are still attending school under public and private high school. So even though there are cases or aspects of bullying, roles of parent and guidance under these students who or youth who are not attending school, we should not include them because our research will be broad. So we just need to focus on our topic or stick to our topic, which is the public and private schools or our respondees or interviewers rather. Okay? Or interviewees rather. Okay? Next. So that's the only thing that we need to remember for the significance of the study. Then we have or rather, not significance of the study, but those are the things that we can just need to remember if we are talking about scope and delimitation. Okay, so we will jump into significance of the study. When we say significance of the study, this is the beneficiary or the people who will benefit in our research. So, for example, this is the title of your study. So, this is how you should write your significance of the study. So, the title here is that types of role conflict among selected senior high school students at Unida Christian Colleges, academic year 2020-2021. So, the result of this study will be beneficial to the following individuals. So, we have to mention the students. So if by any case that the students will be the one who will be reading your research, how the students can be beneficial in your research. So this is how it goes. To students, this study will be beneficial to each and every one. The student who experiences having role conflicts between being a child and a student. This study may be used by the students as evidence or proof on how high or low, depending on the type and the scale role conflicts among students. Okay, so this is how the students or this is how it will benefit the student readers. Okay, next. We also have to parents. For the parents, the study will be benefit the teachers where a student enrolls by being a guide. This study will help the guide for a take-home activities and projects given by the teachers. This study will help the teachers consider time adjustment for the said activities. So how it will be beneficial to teachers if ever the teachers are your readers. So this can also set awareness to teachers what are the best strategy, what are the best action plan for any challenges that they are encountering during the class discussion. So it can also be an eye opener to teachers. What are the things that they need to consider when it comes to teaching or during the instruction delivery. It can also be good. Next, for parents, this study will benefit the parents for each student to further understand the type of role conflict of the student experience. This study would be relevant information to help the parents decide which and when the roles of being a child are to be done. So, for the parents, of course, it will also be setting awareness to parents how they will easily understand a certain issue involving their child or their children, okay, or the student itself. So, note that this significant difference should always be related to your topic. Always be related to your topic. As you can see, the way they use the significance of the study, it should all fall to this topic, types of role conflict among select. selected senior high school students of only the Christian colleges. So as you can see, from the students, teachers to parents, these are all connected to the title itself. So that's how you create a significant difference. Okay, so for future researcher, the study will be useful for references, useful reference for the future. So as a researcher, we should always consider that our research should be open for improvement for other researchers, or it can be also used as a reference for the other researchers. It can also be used as, a pattern for the next study or for our next study. Then, yeah, we have more examples here. Let's say the title is The Stress Management Technique Among Teachers in only the Christian Colleges. So, for example, academic year 2021 to 2022. So, the researchers perceive to help the following people through this study. Number one, to teachers. This study will serve as a guide in handling stress or applying stress management techniques to the teachers in only the Christian colleges. Okay. Next, the to the school administrator, this study will help the administrators of the only the Christian colleges who run the institution to be cautious of what stress can do to their employees. To students, the students in only the Christian colleges should be educated about what stress is and how those stressors affect their teachers. And lastly, for future researchers, this study will serve as a guide for other researchers in only the Christian colleges to use in the future studies related to this thesis. So always at the end of the significance of the study, we have for future researches. So that's the last part. Okay, we can have the teachers, the student, the school administrators, the parents, but we should always have the future researches at the latter part or at the last part rather. Okay, all right. So those are the discussion that we have under significant of the study and scope and delimitation. So if you have any questions, just send me a message. And for more accurate example, we can all have that during our synchronous learning hours so that it will be easier for us to change ideas regarding the examples that I will be presenting. For now, this video are just for the sake of discussion. For any examples related to our thesis writing, I will have an example. I will be giving you an example directly during our synchronous hour. So, again, thank you so much for listening and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.